StreamYard's got that delay. Takes a while to get it.
There we go. Let's get to some folks.
All right, so Vanessa, what are we talking about today?
Well, everybody wants to know what's going on with DACA, and
nothing's going on with DACA, which is good, which means DACA continues. Or DACA. That's how if you're from New York, it's DACA. DACA, and since I'm from New York, it's like DACA or DACA. DACA.
The same thing
look, the court has done nothing. So it's sitting in the district court. I think he's trying to figure out, how can I deny this? There's no way to deny this. I have to figure it out. And he just hasn't. So nothing. The longer they do nothing, the longer it exists, the more you can get travel documents, the more you can renew your DACA, the more you can travel. Good.
Okay, that's good to know that everybody can still travel. A lot of people are, just saying basically they don't want.
Nobody should not file for advanced parole. I mean, it is so simple. Literally, if you have DACA and there is a possibility that you might fall in love and marry in the future, and you don't have a legal entry, there's literally no reason not to travel. None. Did I say none? There's no fear. There's no nothing.
They're always like, somebody else, cousin or brother got stuck over there that can't come back.
Nobody. That literally is made up. That's just literally not true. The only time that's happened, as you know, are people who leave and then either lost their advanced parole, so don't lose it, or they were coming back the day it expired, and like the one dude, his plane was canceled. Don't wait till the last day to come back.
Situation like that, if it's like is the plane or like the airline's fault,
So other than that, if you have advanced parole, and even they were let back in the country eventually, right? So you guys did a great job on that. But really, there's zero risk. I think Hugo De Silva posted 70 times on Dreamers Together. He's traveled, I think, 6 or 7 times. He has a removal order. He's been literally all over the world. He didn't just go home to grandma's funeral. So literally, just put aside the fear. Let go your feelings, Luke.
Yes, sir. I think that's definitely it. Let me see. I have some questions here. Do you guys have questions that we can ask now? Oh, there it is. Here's one.
Ask. What part of Brooklyn are you from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey. Okay, so technically, I was born in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Technically, I'm from Jersey. But when I was 12, my parents, somebody just keeps literally calling me. When I was 12, my parents moved to the Catskills, upstate. Literally just keeps ringing. Let me put it on Do Not Disturb. Then I'll forget it's on Do Not Disturb, and nobody will call me for the next little while. But yeah, so I grew up as a Ute, a fine Ute in Jersey, but then I moved to upstate New York.
There we go.
There I go.
Let's see here. Okay.
All right. So Maria asks a great question here, because this is not TPS. And this is actually the subject of some litigation that we're discussing with another group of dreamers. In a kind of a roundabout way. So if you got your DACA before you were 18 and a half, so 18 plus 100 days, if you got and you've maintained your DACA the entire time, then an employer can sponsor you for a green card, but you cannot adjust status in the United States. So you can fix your status, but you will have to briefly go home and have an interview. Literally, Stephanie, my assistant, right? We are literally doing that for Stephanie. She will be going back to Mexico eventually. It's like 3 years to get an appointment right now. She's got labor cert done, immigrant visa done, just needs to go for her appointment. She'll come back. She'll be gone a week. She'll come back on her green card. Period. So what the travel does is allows you to adjust to a spouse or a child who's 21. Now you're thinking, what DACA kid has a child who's 21? No, I have 2 clients who are grandmothers that have DACA, and because you can be 40, almost 42 now, almost 42, and have DACA.
Yes.
But I had a call yesterday with sisters, And one of them married to a citizen, and one unfortunately got pregnant when she was 13. So she's an 18-year-old. They're just early 30s, right? Travel. Just get rid of the fear. They were terrified of traveling, and I said, go to Dreamers together. Talk to Vanessa. Travel. Really.
Yeah, we got to make sure they're traveling. Here, somebody said they need an appointment with you. What is your phone number?
Well, my phone number is easy. I should put it up, right? I think I can do that, right?
Yeah.
Do you have? I have to do something down here. Oh, here we go. So here's the phone number. My typing is terrible, especially, but you can also make an appointment directly from my website. So I'll put both of those. Oh, character limit's 50. Great. Oh, I can take some names off of that. Oh, there you go. So you can call my office, make an appointment. We're open until 5:30. That's my dog playing with her toys. Or a website. You can make it directly from the website. So, which is actually easier, honestly, because you can get to pick the time, who's event I'm available. Etc.
Okay, let's see here. This one from YouTube. Okay. Spanish.
Okay. Si Mauricio, si casaste con tu esposa antes de que su hijastra tenía 18 años, ella te puede pedir. Y cuando ella tiene 21 años y tienes la entrada legal, puedes arreglar. Bingo, bango, boingo.
Let's see here.
Okay. All right. Bring up Graciela Ramirez's at 501. Bring up Graciela's. I'm looking to consular process for employment because I can't AOS, right? If I file pay, will my A be approved to consular? That's a great question. So the answer is no. You're not. I don't think you're going to get an AP for a consular interview. One, because you only have 3 weeks notice of a consular interview, so you don't have much notice, right? So it's truly not an emergency. But depending on where you're from, sometimes you can time it so that you have enough time. You can figure out when it might be. But there's no need for an advanced parole to go to a consular interview. I know it's kind of an insurance policy, in case there's a problem, but you really don't need it. But that's the difficulty in doing it, is timing.
Right.
My clients are all over America. What's the great thing about immigration is, it's all online. Well, technically it's all on paper, but it's all online. And certainly we're online. We do all our form stuff online, questionnaires online, information online, Zoom online. It's all done that way. Is advanced parole and adjustments are taking about the same time to get approved? Yeah. If you're asking for advanced parole from DACA, obviously you can't file your AOS if you don't have legal entry. But if you're applying for an advanced parole with your adjustment because you have a prior entry, yeah, there are people getting their green cards before they get their advanced parole, even though immigration's supposedly charging you for it. Advanced paroles are an unmitigated nightmare. I just went through the service centers. 7 months, 8 months, 14 months, 15 months, 11 months, the 5 service centers. I believe, Vanessa, I think there's a class action pending on advanced parole, but it's like we just filed a class action on 601A waivers because they're taking 34 months to do a 601A waiver, which is insane. And we're going to win that, but it's going to take us 6 months, 8 months. It's just nothing goes fast. But keep in mind, if you're filing for adjustment, your advanced parole is included. You don't pay extra for it currently. So you might as well do it. But yeah, generally speaking, you're not going to get an advanced parole today. First it goes, an AP has denied the visa. Can they return with that AP? If you happen to have it, yeah. Return an advanced parole. But again, obviously you need a lawyer. If you're doing consular processing on an employment case or for some reason on a family case, I don't know why you do it on a family case, unless, with a spouse. If it's your mom, you got to do it in your family case. I just don't think you're going to be able to get an advanced parole in time. But yes, you would be able to come back on the advanced parole because your DACA remains valid. I just can't imagine why you would be denied it. But this is why you go to a lawyer. He's going to run through the 47 grounds of inadmissibility and make sure there's nothing that's going to cause you a problem.
Yeah, that's a good answer. Here's this one.
Can a doctor with 2 illegal entries and 1 legal adjust in the United States? And the answer to that question, Vanessa, is no. Well, let me say this. The answer to that question is it depends. If you came into the U.S. without visa, some people would say illegal. I just say without a visa, and you stayed less than 12 months and you left, you do not have the permanent bar. It's only when you come in without a visa and you stay longer than 12 months and you leave and come back before 10 years passes that you have the permanent bar.
Yeah, I think a lot of people always get those confused.
It's a very confusing idea. The thing is, over 3 million people have the permanent bar. I see people literally every day come in for a consult. Mi Santísimo Hijo has 21 years old. First question, when did you come in? And the answer always is, the first time?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, unfortunately, no. So it depends. How long were you here previously? The problem is, the reason this is confusing for DACA kids is there's a rule that says for purposes of cancellation of removal, you only begin accruing unlawful presence over the age of 18. But for purposes of a different rule, not that, a different rule, the permanent bar, there is no age cutoff. There is no age start date. And that's why there's now. Could it be interpreted the other way? Sure. If Biden had any brains at all, they would say, we're going to reinterpret this. We've been interpreting it wrong for 26 years. We're going to reinterpret it. And if you were a minor when you came in and a minor when you left, we're not going to count that. They could do that. They're not going to, but they could do that. Because pro-immigration people are not in the government today. It's my personal opinion, but it's true. All right. What would happen if I sent a medical exam that over 60 days old? They'll reject it and send it back. And you wasted money on postage. It's simple. We're like, asking for a friend. It's mi amigo. It's not me. It's not me. This is my friend. Can you try with this parole if you have a criminal case pending? I would not. I would not do that. I think that's a silly idea. Get the criminal case resolved. Now, what is a criminal case? First question, what is a criminal case? If it's a DUI, well, that's traffic class criminal. It's not going to end, not going to end up, if you don't get convicted of DUI, it's not going to end up costing you DACA. But obviously I wouldn't do that because you can, and here's why, and this is very complicated. This is like level 5 of immigration. To be deported, you have to have a conviction. But to be inadmissible, you don't need a conviction. You can what you can do what's called admit the essential elements of the crime. So you're coming in, the friendly guy at the airport in the black uniform and the gun says, "Oh, I see you've been arrested. Please come to the cuartito with me. And let me ask you a couple questions. So I see you were arrested. Yes, I was arrested. So what happened? Well, this and this and happened. Okay, did you when you did this, did you know this was going to happen? I did. Well, by being basically you're being interrogated by a cop without a lawyer. And he gets you admit something, you're gone. You're toast. You're gone forever. They put you back on the plane back home. Do not travel with a pending criminal case. Punto.
Yeah, that's a good one because people get scared and just start talking.
It's an intimidating. Yeah. Being in the cuartito can be very intimidating. CBP is generally okay, but it just takes one idiot, The guy had to fight with his husband that morning, and he just wanted to jerk somebody around. Or maybe they're offering bonuses. Who knows, for kicking people out. I don't doubt this. Someone travels using advanced parole. Will that legal entry to someone you don't introduce help someone adjust to employ? No, I already answered this question. No, it does not. Consular processing is the only way. But that's okay. If you don't have the unlawful presence, you're golden. So I did, if your AP was approved, for sure come back. Well, so I'm going to rearrange the words in that sentence. If you have an advanced parole, for sure you will come back, unless you have a criminal arrest, and then you might not. So obviously, don't travel. Vanessa, everything's got a caveat of some kind, right? So but generally speaking, my husband is in final court, final position, doesn't have a lawyer. Well, honestly, if he has a court in New York, it's a little unclear. Does he already have a final decision, or is he going for? I mean, if he's got an upcoming court date, he needs a lawyer in New York. You could email me, and I will give you the name of a great lawyer in New York. If he already has had his final hearing, I'm happy to have a consult with you to see what your options are. That's fair, right, Vanessa?
Yeah, that's perfect. I do want to ask you this one. Lately, we have been seeing the documents come back as 512T. We've seen some people that travel with it perfectly fine. Is it like a different document?
Yeah, so there is advanced parole there's different kinds of advanced parole. Advanced parole for adjustment of status, advanced parole for TPS, advanced parole for DACA. Immigration started doing this because traveling on TPS and coming back on advanced parole is treated differently for purposes of a green card. So you can adjust to an employer, but this is the group that I'm talking to. And it's a question, why it seems unfair. Well, the problem is DACA was created by regulation, but TPS was created by statute. And the statute actually provides for this. It's called MTNA, the Miscellaneous Technical Corrections of the Immigration Nationality Act of 1990. And so there's stuff in there that immigration uses to justify treating them differently. So for purposes of entry, you're fine. I mean, you just go back in the DACA status. But TPS is an actual lawful status. It's like a visitor visa. It's like a work visa. It has a lawful status. So if you had TPS, you travel, come back in, you're back in a lawful status. And so that's why you're treated differently.
Okay, because she did get her document and it said, so she's fine to travel. 512T.
Oh, yeah, you can travel. Yeah, traveling's no problem. You'll be fine. You're coming back in.
Okay, and here we go with this one.
Yeah, I mean, you if you're with a pending an asylum case, you can request advanced parole. Now, they don't give it very often. They're pretty stingy with it. You can't go back to your home country, but yeah, you could and generally it's treated kind of like DACA. What's the emergency? What's the need? What's the business need? What's the personal need? So it's kind of like a DACA advanced parole.
A lot of people actually they have an asylum case pending. Can they travel? I mean, they can't.
Well, they can apply for an advanced parole. They don't grant them very often. Yeah, we already talked about this one, didn't we? Hey, they got a stack of blank paper, and some dude's printing out a whole bunch of advanced paroles, and he puts the wrong paper in the printer. It really doesn't matter. It's the status that you're readmitted into that matters. Final order by the immigration judge, apply for AP. After AP, can I apply for adjustment of status? Actually, this is the problem. The answer is no, unless you reopen your order of removal. And that's a problem because some people in good jurisdictions, ICE is just like, sure, whatever. Other places, no. We have one judge here. It's like, you get an order of removal 15 years ago. You never left. Why should I help you now just because you got married? He's an asshole. All right. So whatever. Do not put that on the web, by the way. That's a jerk move, right? It was a child. It was 7 years old when I got ordered deported. What do you expect me to do, Jose? But other judges are like, of course I'll help you. Why not? If I can do something, if you have the power to help somebody, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you do it? That's what just stuns me with some of these ICE guys. If you could help somebody, why wouldn't you do it?
Let's see here.
All right. And the one right before that, too. Go look at Alma Hidrogo. It's a good question. Yeah. Someone came back with deportation and his wife is can apply for his green card. The answer is no. Because he has, if he didn't spend 10 years out of the U.S. after his deportation, he has a permanent bar. And the parole in place does not forgive a permanent bar. Now, if you beat him and he files an abused spouse case, then he can get a green card.
Easy, right? Let's see. Natalie had a 245I question.
Proof of physical presence on the actual date with secondary proof such as generally affidavits are pretty useless. What I tell clients, what we're looking for are documents on or around that date. So if you don't have 12, and it's 23 years on, 22 years on, right? Who's got the documents? If you don't have 12/21/2000 documents, do you have 12/15 documents? Do you have 1/15 documents? Do you have year-end W-4, W-2s? Do you have pictures? Now, remember back in the day, people had cameras, but they had to actually print the pictures. And most cameras either had a date that showed on it, or there was a date on the development on the back of each of the pictures, the little tiny print. So those things, but you can use an affidavit or a declaration, but immigration does not put a lot of weight into that. They just don't. And generally, if you were in school, your parents were, it just depends. And again, it's not you that has to prove this. It's the person who was filed for. So if your uncle filed for his brother, it's your dad that has to prove he was here, not you. It's your dad. I got married to a U.S. citizen. I got caught twice myself. A kid. Well, getting caught's no big deal. Who cares if you got caught? If you were caught and didn't get deported. Now, most people that were caught at the border were given what's called a VR, or a voluntary return. If you want to verify that this happened to you, you can send your fingerprints in to the Customs Border Protection and request an OBIM, O-B-I-M FOIA, and it will come back with your prints and your face, and it will say voluntary return. Voluntary returns are not deportation. So for people like you who probably had a voluntary return, especially if it was any time before 2008, 2009, 2010, then yes, you can still do the advanced parole, and if you have DACA, and get a green card. Hola, mi esposo y yo tenemos la 255 ¿Afectará como carga pública de SSI? No. That's an easy question. No le afecta.
So can you just give us a little brief explanation about the public charge now? Because I think everybody's
public charge has completely changed. The Trump public charge, everybody's concerned about, is gone. There's new public charge rules, which basically are, they don't hold you accountable as a parent for getting your U.S. citizen child the benefits that they are entitled to. So you don't, and you as an undocumented individual are not eligible for anything. You literally cannot get welfare of any kind. So don't worry about it. That's the rules.
Okay. And this one, Elizabeth.
Can residents by having children with disabilities? No. Sorry. You can, if they're severe enough disabilities and you're undocumented, you can ask for deferred action. We do a lot of those cases, but it has to be a pretty severe disability. Your kid's got cancer, your kid's got 2 heads, things like that. Oh, look at Christian. There's a lot of questions here. Christian, yeah. Are interviews being waived? The answer is sometimes. Sometimes. That's entirely a decision of the officer reviewing the case at the service center. If they feel that you have submitted sufficient evidence of the validity of your marriage, and I'm going to tell you, they have Googled you, they have looked for your Facebook page, they have looked for your pictures. If they are convinced it's a real marriage, they will waive the interview. But that means you're also probably only getting your 2-year green card, your conditional green card. You will 100% of the time, I love your little guy back there, 100% of the time, you will be interviewed on your removal of conditions. He says, Mom, Mom, Mom. Come here. Come here. No, she doesn't want to. Dulce doesn't want to come up. Come here. Come here. You want to say hello? Come here. Come on. Come on. Sit up. Sit up. Oh, you mean a lazy puppy. Oh. Say hello. Say hello. Oh, that's Dulce. Okay, this is Dulcinea. Dulcinea. We call her Dulce. And Dulce is very lazy. So she's my little puppy. She's a good girl. I'm sorry. You can go back to sleep now. All right, Vanessa, what's next? What is the removal? Oh, so if you get married to a citizen and you've been married for less than 2 years when you got your green card, within 90 days before the end of the 2 years, you have to file another application with immigration, pay them some more moolah, and show that you're either still married, or if you're divorced, that you had a bona fide marriage, you were the victim of abuse of some kind, or it would be an extreme hardship if you couldn't keep your green card. That's what that interview is. It's it's a marriage interview. You've seen the movies? There you go. Mi esposa hizo residente. Y yo hice advance pro, puede hacer la entrevista aquí o mejor. No, ella tiene que ser ciudadana. Si ella sigue como residente, tendrás que ir al consulado. Empuje a tu esposo de jurarse. Ándale, man. Hágalo. Can you clear that part about not traveling? Okay, I'm going to be clear. Do not travel if you have a pending criminal case. Now, if you have a misdemeanor, my strong encouragement to you, because if you still have DACA, that means you're okay. Please consult with a lawyer who will review your conviction record to ensure that you won't have a problem on returning. Hey, big guy, how you doing? There he is. He's the man. So, si estoy aprobada para visa U, es posible que mis padres y hermanas pueden obtener una visa con mi mismo caso. Well, el asunto aquí, Brenda, es ¿qué edad tuviste cuando fuiste víctima? Si eres menor de edad, menor de 21, sus padres debieron haber sido incluidos y su hermana menos de 21 años también debiera haber sido incluido. Pero si estás aprobado y tienes la visa U ahorita, no, ya no pueden incluirlos. Si tengo 3 misdemeanors, pero tengo DACA. That's kind of strange, Vanessa. Generally, 1 maybe. Penuele, I would, tendría que hablar contigo y ver las disposiciones. Es muy raro que alguien con 3 misdemeanors. Now, si no tienes ninguna condena, no tienes misdemeanors. Pero si tienes 3 condenas por misdemeanors, es raro que tienes DACA. Right, Vanessa? That would be very weird. All right. ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? ¿Qué más? Where can I check to see if I ever claim to be a citizen? No, I don't know. God's computer? I have no idea. Don't you know? I assume you would know if you checked the box and got a benefit that only a citizen can get. Like, for example, on an I-9 for a job, if you checked that you were a citizen. But, Herlinda, you appear to be quite young, and you probably have DACA. I don't know why you would have checked the box and said you were a citizen. But there is no great computer that tracks this. It's entirely up here. Expunge criminal record as juvenile effect. Oh, okay. So you were a juvenile and your juvenile record was expunged. That's what I'm assuming. Juvenile cases are not criminal. They're called delinquencies, and they are not considered. They're nothing as far as immigration is concerned. So, but again, talk to a lawyer about it individually. Can someone apply para la visa? This is, okay, we're speaking Spanglish here. Para la visa U, if they were at home and someone broke into their apartment and they were underage. Well, depends. Were they armed? Estaban armados? What happened? This is the kind of case where somebody comes to me, I said, show me the police report. Show me the police report, and I'll tell you the answer.
Okay, this one.
My husband overstayed his visa, applied for advance pro readily. Why would he apply for advance pro? He entered on a visa. Filed for his green card. You don't need advance pro.
Wasting time.
You're still quemando luz, man. You're burning daylight. File for the green card. You don't need advance pro.
Yeah. Let's see this.
He can if he wants to, but I wouldn't do it. My HR rep wrote down in my job application now. He's trying to fix it. It was my fault. I think you're fine. Make sure you get that in writing from your HR rep. What? First of all, he's not allowed to check that box. Only you are allowed to check that box. That guy should have his butt fired, is what should happen. But I want you to get that from him in writing. And you can just make sure you correct it and go back and sign it. So you're fine. You're fine. But get that in writing and get it fixed. No, they don't audit all your prior employers. Every now and then, like once every couple of years, I'll see immigration ask for an I-9. But here's the deal. Employers don't have to keep I-9s. Once you've been gone for a year, they toss them. So, you had an employer 10 years ago you did an I-9 for. That I-9 is gone. It's in a landfill somewhere. So don't worry about it. Yo me llego, me das pro, por favor, asegúrame que estaré bien. Armida. Te aseguro. Cuídate. Buen viaje. Y no bebe el agua. No bebe el agua.
Yes.
With a petition, if I had worked illegally before DACA, well, how old were you? If you were, the answer is if you were before DACA, if you were under 18, it's irrelevant. Okay, because you were undocumented anyway. And it's honestly, it is neither a crime nor a violation of no status to work when you're undocumented. And there's nothing. So the answer is no.
Let's see. So many questions. I'm sorry, guys, if I'm skipping your questions. They're just coming in and I can't.
We got lots of people watching. I don't know if people watching, but we got lots of people here. That's kind of cool.
140. Yeah. Let's see. Is anything?
I like Paulina next to the last. If my grandparents have visited the U.S., they live in Mexico? Yes, because now they're sick.
Yeah.
You get a letter from their doctor. Mi santísimo abuelo Pedro ya está sufriendo de tal y tal y tal y tal.
This is a long question here.
See, my aunt petition for my mom in March was approved. My mom became a U.S. citizen. My brother was a citizen because it's faster. Well, you still have 245I. You're still protected by 245I. So again, it's proving your mom was here on December 21, 2000. You still carry that benefit. So, I mean, what you left out is that you're married to a beautiful American girl. Where's that? Or guy, nobody cares. You can marry whoever you want.
Let's go.
My fiance is a resident. I'm sure he's not a residence because that would be a very big building. Oh, we would like to get married to fix my legal status. Well, you can get married whenever you want to. Married. Right. When you get married is irrelevant. Tell you what, you go home, tell your boyfriend, you know what, we're flying to Vegas this weekend, and we're going to get married in Vegas at the Chapel of Love, and Elvis is going to officiate. And then he becomes a citizen, and you travel.
Let's see here.
I'll go back. Maria Martinez. Let's do Juan first. Yeah. All right, Maria. 18. Yes. Right now it's about 3 years. All right, Juan. You had Juan up. I entered the U.S. multiple times as a minor with a passport and visa under a false name. I said longer than a year every time. I did AP, American unjust status. Well, that's a good question. Mine would ask you, how old were you exactly? Were you traveling alone? This is the kind of thing, Juan, that I would delete off the freaking internet this question and go see a lawyer.
Yes.
Really. Delete this now. Really. It's still up. Delete it.
Okay. Wait, I'm sorry. Here it is. This one.
I'm pursuing employment-based EB3. I already have my legal entry in my company's license. I can do AP. Come back. Your lawyer's wrong. Your lawyer's absolutely wrong. You're going to have to consular process. Yeah, it's the only way, Shivi. Who's your company lawyer? The thing is, a lot of business immigration lawyers, I do a lot of business immigration. That's all they do. So they don't really understand DACA. And maybe he's confusing it with TPS, but no, you have to consular process. You'll be fine. You'll be awesome. Congrats, by the way. That's awesome.
All right, guys. Last question here for
a lot of questions here, so Vanessa, people can always message me, they can message me on Facebook. I always respond. So that I have a deportation order apply for AP. Should I work on getting my deportation? No, it doesn't matter. I mean, you want to make sure you put together a whiz bang great motion to reopen, but you can travel. In fact, I prefer my clients to travel before I file, because then I can tell the government, hey, they got an I-130 filed, they've traveled, they're adjustable. Please approve the motion. Please agree with my motion to reopen. But we had one case where, I'll just tell you, Vanessa, we had a judge here where the government agreed to do a joint motion to reopen, and the judge denied it. In the case where he said, well, just, you stayed here like 15 years. I don't think it's fair. What a jerk off. I was 7 years old. We're gonna win that case on appeal. So sometimes you've got to fight on appeal, but that's kind of the way it is.
So do you take those cases to close deportations from any state, or just?
Oh, no, we do cases from everywhere. Natalie asked another question. Natalie asked a lot of questions today, but they're good questions. You play over the blatant disregard. We're going to ask for arriving non-citizen removal proceedings. This is actually not a blatant disregard. I think you're confusing a couple things. So immigration, USCIS has primary initial jurisdiction, original jurisdiction over AOS for arriving non-citizens, even in removal proceedings. But you have to get, but because you're in removal proceedings at the same time, CIS loses jurisdiction to the court. So you have to get the court to terminate the case before they assume original jurisdiction, because the court cannot do adjustment. It's kind of a catch-22, but you have to do the court case first. Okay. Doing 11 months for N400. The question is where? What city? Because here in Atlanta, it's like 4 to 9 months. But if you go online, it'll tell you 17 and a half months. So, yes, you can sue them, but it just depends on where you are, Anna. I would need to see your city. If you're in New York, maybe that's taking longer than Iowa. So it just depends. Okay.
Let's see here.
Con visa y se quedó en UC, no regresó a su país, tuvo un hijo en UC para ajustar su estatus si está casada con un ciudadano. Yeah. You can, puede arreglar aquí. LA. Oh, LA is a nightmare. LA. I love LA. Woo-hoo. Look at LA here. LA is for N400s. They're saying that their public processing time, so the lie they put on their website is, let's take a look here, Los Angeles. Well, maybe your case was flooded and it's now sitting in the Pacific. They're saying 18 months. So honestly, what I would do is I would Google U.S. Senator Padilla and constituent services. And you ask, he will have a form you can fill out, and they will do a follow-up for you. And it's free. Cool beans. My mother's work permit, category C10, does she have an opportunity to green green card? If she entered legally and you're a citizen, yes. Otherwise, C10 is someone who's applying for cancellation of removal because they have more than 10 years in the United States, they have children born here, and one or more of those children will suffer extraordinary or highly unusual hardship. The grant rate for those cases is 2%. So again, I mean, it's very, they give work permits because those are automatic. Those are, monkey process. Anybody could do those. But the winning those cases is very, very difficult.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question she's been asking a lot. Here we go.
If my friend's child was touched inappropriately, a police report has been made, can the parents ask for a visa? Yes, absolutely. Yes. So you do it now. They don't have to wait. Unfortunately, we've done too many of those cases. Well, does my lawyer? Does my lawyer? Does mandamus action work? Oh my God, does it work?
Sorry.
So what you don't know about me is when I was national president of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, I gave a speech, and at the time, lawyers we weren't filing anything, and I've been filing lawsuits since 1989. I filed literally hundreds of mandamus actions. You always get a result. Now, what you're asking for a decision, not a grant. Sometimes that result's not what you want, but you will always get a result faster if you sue. Always. Does my lawyer have to hand over my paperwork? Yes, your lawyer has to hand over your paperwork. If your lawyer refuses to give you your file, now keep in mind, you have to understand this concept. You hired that lawyer. You paid that lawyer. The things he did belong to you. If he has not given you copies, he is required to give you your file. If he wants to retain a copy, he can do that. He cannot charge you for it. If he refuses to do this, you get on the line, you put your state in, Georgia. You go state bar grievance, state bar complaint, and that will tell you how to. And what you're going to file a complaint And they will then call your lawyer and say, why have you not given this file? And magically that file will come to you. So the lawyer is required to give you your entire file, all of it. There's a lawyer here in Georgia that every time I get hired by one of his clients, and it happens a lot, send me the file, and they won't give the file. So I'll call the state bar. Eventually he's going to get disbarred. So, whatever.
Okay, Anna.
If I'm protected, not married, with one other ways to continue green card, employment. If you have 245I, an employer can sponsor you.
So even if you're
here 2 years,
245I, do they still have to go out of the country, or they can get?
No, 245I is paying the $1,000 fine. So as long as you're protected and you could prove your mom or dad is here on December 2000, then yeah, you can adjust status here. You can pay the $1,000 fine, do it through employment. Oh, go back to Shivi Cattell at 537. He's the one who's getting a green card. My mom has admin closed deportation order from 2002. My sister turned 21 last year. So you have to have your sister file an I-130. Then you have to file to recalendar and terminate your mom's removal order, assuming she has a legal entry. Talk to a lawyer wherever that case is.
Let's see. You guys are asking.
Does my husband and I have to file taxes together if I'm doing AOS? I would strongly suggest that until you become a citizen, that you file together. I know accountants will say blah, 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 blah. For immigration purposes, to make your case easier, because immigration thinks that every marriage is like some movie from 1950, where the husband is working and the wife is cooking dinner at 5 o'clock every night, dressed in an evening gown with perfect makeup. So yes, do them together, avoid issues. Can I petition? Again, I would prefer you file your taxes together. It just makes it easier. You don't have to, just makes it easier.
Okay, Jessica.
What are you freaking waiting for, Jessica? You should be a citizen today. No, you will have no problem adjusting at all. File your freaking adjustment, please.
Natalie, let's go with Natalie. What did you say?
Natalie's back again. Common group question. If individuals over 21 under DACA or undocumented with legal entry is a U.S. citizen spouse over 20, not counting for 25 weeks. Yes, basically, if you want to adjust here. So yes, you got a spouse or a child over 21. That's it. Now keep in mind, Vanessa, over 400,000 DACA recipients have done this.
Okay.
At its height, over 1 million people had DACA, and today barely 600,000 have it. They didn't get deported; they got a green card. This has been happening for almost 10 years now. So there you go.
What are the chances of it coming back? Like, do you think they will open it again to the new folks, or?
That's up to the judge. Obviously this judge doesn't want to do that, and he can technically sit on it for the entire time Biden's president.
Wow.
He's the guy's apparently a jerk off. He has the power to help people and he won't. He'd rather kowtow to whoever crazy's put him in office, Trump. Did I say that out loud? I didn't say that out loud, didn't I? So that's what he'd prefer to do. And so I mean, I don't know. It just depends. Can I apply for I-212 with final waiver? Yes, you can. I-212 is a waiver, and you would apply for that before you'd apply for anything else. Before adjustment, you apply for the I-212. Now, what will happen then, you can file an adjustment. You still have, when you get your green card, you have to ask the judge to reopen your case. Okay. Can I apply for order removal? Yes, that's what you would do. All right.
Let's see. Natalie.
If you have you just need a marriage certificate.
Okay.
I don't know what that's referring to, but
there we go.
How can I go? Well, take his question down.
There you go.
Call or go to the website, make it online. We do Zoom. I do lots of Zoom consults. All right, what else we got here? We got a couple more questions here.
Let's see. Oh my God, you guys are like typing fast.
My grandpa petitioned my mom. She's got Yes, and here's the cool thing: you don't have to prove any presence. It's only for the applications filed after 1998 that you have to, that as part of 245 issue 2000. If you have a 92 application date. 245Is is yours for the taking through any category, employment or family.
You know what's crazy? My mother had the 245, and I never knew. We
Really?
went to so many lawyers, and
It's like the golden ticket in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
I just ended up doing it my spare one coming back because I'm like, nobody's telling her anything. Then, obviously I learned.
See, a good lawyer would have asked you that question.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever sponsored you or your parents?
That's crazy.
So my job career, guess my job. Assuming that you got your DACA before you were 18 and you have 245I, yes, they can. Now, not every job will do it, but most, especially if they're a giant company, Wells Fargo Bank is not going to sponsor a teller, okay? But, you're working at a restaurant, they might do it. All right.
This question, let's see, Brenda.
I have BBA 10 years benefits. Do I qualify for ABT? I don't know. That's a great question. I mean, having a bachelor's degree and 10 years experience doesn't mean you qualify for, you're talking about a national interest waiver. I mean, technically you'd qualify because you have the equivalent of a master's degree, but yeah, you'd be EB2. Great. But you still got to get an employer to sponsor you. Somebody put Anna Ruiz at 553. Husband got his advanced parole for a year, 543. Multiple countries, but he is nervous about it. Why? If he's got permission to go to specific countries, he can go to those countries.
Right.
Okay. Keep it, especially if he's like in Europe, then they don't stamp your passport when you travel through countries. You just like land in England and you go or not England anymore. You can't do that. They're not part of Brexit. But land in France, you can go to 20 countries. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. This one, I think.
Someone put Lupe Mendez. Lupe Mendez was just below that. Sign Lupe there. Look, immigration is asking that you include your medical with your adjustment filing. Don't not include it, because this way you might get an interview that's not scheduled. You can just do without an interview. Okay, it's faster for them, and which is contrary to what they said a year ago, by the way. So don't be surprised that you're confused because they're confused. Okay.
This one.
My passport is with ICE. Can I return it temporarily based on approved? Why is your passport with ICE?
I think she has asylum.
Yeah.
I believe she has asylum.
You can call ICE and say I need my passport to travel. But if you have DACA, why does they have a passport? Now she might be an asylum applicant that has a parole. Yeah, they will do that. They'll arrange. You need to call them up, which I know is a nightmare. Might have to show up at their office. Say, look, I need my passport so I can travel.
Can she request a new passport?
You can also ask for a new passport if you want to.
Okay.
But, for some countries, that's really hard. And if you're seeking asylum from the country, maybe you don't want to do that.
Yeah. I believe she's from Africa. Let's see here. Oh, my God. You guys are you guys are here today.
Look at 550. Okay, I'm an ANIC and my employer sponsored me on DACA. Well, again, you have to, yes, they can. But you're going to have to consular process. And you have to have gotten DACA before you were 18 and a half. Look at the one right above that, Crisel Quintana. Please specify who can benefit from 245I. Your grandparents had an approval. Okay, so that means your mom. You are not included in the petition that included your grandparents. So the principals are your grandparents, and your mom would be a derivative beneficiary, but you would not be. Okay, only the individual and children. Okay, but your mom would be.
This one.
Is a lawyer necessary to ask a judge to cancel the petition? Well, do you know how to do it?
Yes, get a lawyer, please.
I'm going to tell you to get a lawyer. I mean, and I'm really, get a lawyer who does a lot of these. All right. Just because you say you practice immigration law doesn't mean you're really good at it. It just doesn't. So Google reviews are good. Generally they're pretty accurate. Avo is another good place. You go to Avo and the person has a 1 star, you probably don't want to go to them.
I want to go there.
They have, if they're on Google, they have 4.4, 4.5 to 5. They're good. I mean, you're going to be fine in their hands.
Okay, this one.
If I obtain a job within the military, does that count as PPP for my parents? No. You have to be actually a service member, active duty, or National Guard. So you can do National Guard too. Someone told me that I can't have my brother and parents on my visa because I filed it when I was over 20 and accidentally when we were 9. I think you can. I think you can. I have to go back and look, okay? But I'm pretty sure that they should be included in that because of when it's supposed to be judged from when it happens.
Okay. Let's see here.
Let's disclose an arrest for traffic tickets. Yes. If you were arrested, the question is, have you been arrested? They took your fingerprints if you arrested. So yes, disclose it. Otherwise, you've now committed fraud by saying no to that question.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did your lawyer disclose it? God, I hate stupid. It's not a problem to be arrested. You just got to be honest about it. Here's the deal. I would disclose it on your adjustment. Okay. If they ask why it wasn't disclosed previously, I told my lawyer. Throw the lawyer under the bus. It's okay.
Let's see. Okay. Simple questions, guys.
Okay. Oh, go back to Crisel, Quintana, 547. We'll go back, then we'll go to Norabelli. Yes. If your mom was sponsored prior to 98, there's no physical presence requirement. So she still has the 245I eligibility. All right. Go to Norabelli. Can a doctor travel with a space in their record? I don't know. What space is we referring to? That they had all A's? I don't know. Norabelli, you're missing a word. You're missing. So what else we got here? What's another one here? Maybe she'll add it. Maybe we'll figure out what she's going on. All right, go back up to 547, Sonia Morales. Now, this is definitely a question asked for a friend. 547. This is for a friend. It's not her. This is not her. Currently have DACA. Her friend currently has DACA. Will a misdemeanor drug case affect applying for advanced parole? Yes. You will also lose your DACA. Okay? There is no such thing as a good drug case. Don't do drugs. There you go. All right. I've only married you for 8 months. Yeah. I mean, if you're the victim of domestic violence, it's really extreme cruelty. So it doesn't have to be physical violence. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You have to have proof you were really married. You have to prove a valid marriage, but yes, you can. And I'm sorry that you're going through that. That's terrible. Oscar, next question. How long is adjustment of status taking? I don't know. Where are you? Here's the deal, Vanessa. We had a client recently approved in 2 months. Nice. Filed their green card, 2 months. I've got clients whose case has been pending for 6 years.
Wow.
Immigration is like driving home from work. On Monday, you drive home, leave the office at 5 o'clock. Takes you an hour to get home because there's every light is red. Tons of. The next day, 5 o'clock, Tuesday, you leave. You get home in 15 minutes. No traffic, no lights. Why? I don't know. That's how immigration works.
He says he's from Florida. Yeah, it depends.
Okay, go up to 550. Florida. Well, it depends. There's 5 offices in Florida. So Jacksonville, Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, Tampa. Natalie asks great questions. There are 47 different reasons to be denied for consular interview. That's why you talk to a lawyer. There are 47 different grounds of inadmissibility. Okay. And there's no appeal. There's no appeal.
Let's see.
That's why you have a lawyer help you. Why you ask on the application by the country you intend to visit? Because they want to know where you're going. They don't want you going to North Korea. They don't want you going to Somalia. I don't know. They don't want you going to Russia, man. I don't know. That's why they're asking. Okay? You should only go to the country that you said you were going to.
Okay. You hear that, guys? Pay attention.
You should only go to the country that you said you were going to. You don't want to say, were you lying then or are you lying now? Just go to that country. When you get your green card, you can go anywhere you want. Nobody will care except for North Korea. Don't go there. Is it expensive to get a pardon for a consular process? I'm assuming you're talking about the 601A waiver. I don't know what you mean by expensive. Does it cost? Is $10 expensive to you? Is $5,000 expensive to you? I don't know what that means to you. But I will tell you this. Every case is different. Some cases are easier. They cost less. Some cases are harder. They cost more. It just depends. And, there are lawyers that charge very little to do those cases. and they get a lot of denied cases. There are lawyers that charge a lot to do cases, and they get denied cases too.
Oh my God.
There's no perfect. Again, you want to go to somebody who does a lot of these cases. We do 100 of these cases a year. We do a lot of these cases. If I was going now, will I be able to apply for AP? Yeah, absolutely. Do AP come back and dump that? You'll be able to dump NBC. Then you just get a just here. Yes. Especially if you're Mexican. It's taking 3 years to get an interview in Ciudad Juarez. 3 years. Cool. You're going to have your green card. You're going to be well on your way to citizenship by that point.
Yeah. Let's see. This one, Christian.
Yes. The answer to this question is yes. You can get your citizenship 2 years and 9 months after the grant of your conditional permanent residence.
Not.
Oh, Natalie is is Natalie in law school?
She should be.
She should. My class last semester. If you can spouse cross judgment for EB, Natalie, if you're a paralegal looking for a job, we have an opening literally right now. So you wanna get hired by us, you just call right now. Can consular be interviewed in your country? Yes, it can be. I mean, as long as you can get to the spouse's country. I mean, yes. if your country is, let's say you're Indian married to an Afghani. Well, Indians have a jillion-year wait for an employment-based card, but your spouse is from Afghanistan. I guess you can go to Kabul.
Yeah.
You might not want to. So, yes.
Let's see.
You can also go to your other country. You can go to either country. You can interview in India for consular. You're talking about employment-based consular. I think the last time I checked, which was a couple weeks ago, was about 8 or 9 months. They're doing a lot of these cases. They're pushing them to go faster. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to go to paralegal school to be a paralegal. One of our base requirements, we like people to have a bachelor's degree, but it's not a requirement. All right. But you do not need to go to paralegal school.
Let's go, Nats. Let's go.
You don't. I mean, you have to be smart. That's what we need, somebody who's smart. Okay,
Natalie's very smart. She's very smart.
Well, if I'm in Mexico, advanced parole, my U visa gets approved, how soon can you bring me back? Come back on your advanced parole.
That's another question I ask.
The other thing you can do is you can make an appointment at the U.S. consulate and ask for a U visa stamp. You can do that too. You can do either one.
So if they apply for the U visa, they can still go out on advanced parole. It won't cancel out anything, right?
No, it doesn't cancel it at all.
Right. Okay.
Shivi wants to work for me too. She's moved to Atlanta. We'd love to have you.
Let's see.
Okay.
Yes, nasty.
My friend's mom, because she's 21, unmarried in the U.S., has been approved. Could you get a permit to get a driver's license? No. Just because you have an approved petition doesn't give you any right to any benefits. Now, if you live in California or New Mexico or Washington State or Oregon or Virginia and New York, you can get a driver's license. My husband might be the case, but once I'm ready to move, yes. You send your resume. Where does she send her resume? Vanessa, show them. Take her. Mine right there on the website. You text you that phone number.
There you go, Nat.
Now, keep in mind, if you're getting your green card through work, just FYI, you should work there for at least 1 year after you get your green card. You should. This way, when you apply for citizenship, nobody questions you. Now, on the other hand, if your case has been pending for longer than 6 months on your adjustment, you are portable as long as you go to work in the same or similar job. That's immigration level 6.
Okay.
Yes, Paulina, we have done hundreds of advanced paroles, but I will tell you who also does them cheaper than us. We charge $750. We don't charge very much. I mean, it sounds like a lot to you, but it's really not very much. And they do them cheaper. Born in France, not a French. Oh no, dude, you might be a French citizen, but you are cross-charged. You are chargeable to France because it's your country of birth that determines how you get a green card. So if you've been born in India, you'd have 100-year wait for a green card because you're in France. And New Delhi, I think Mumbai does them too. I think there's 2 consulates that do them. This is why I have paralegals to ask me some questions for me.
Let's see.
Okay. If you have an order of deportation and do advanced parole and try to do AU after that, yes. You got to reopen your order.
Let's see.
Is it a bad idea to ask your brother? No, it's not a bad idea. Are you a good? Well, are you a good employee?
Right.
Are you invaluable? Then it's a great idea. And generally, I will tell you generally what I do. If an employer calls me and says, hey, this employee asked me if I, sponsor, what does that involve? I have a package that I send them. It tells them what their responsibilities are. Basically, all they do have to pay for the labor certification. They have to pay for the first part. They have to pay for it. You can't pay for it. And the ads. Other than that, there's no real obligation. They don't even really have to hire you. I mean, they 2 years from now, they say, I don't like you. They can just walk away.
Yeah.
So. Do Enrique. Go back at 557. How soon after finishing basic training and AIT can I do military parole in place? Literally the day you complete basic, you can do parole in place. The day you complete basic, okay, you can do the parole in place. But if you're not, I'm assuming you're a permanent resident. But yeah, do the parole in place right away. I love parole in place. I mean, honestly, it's George Bush created parole in place, and kudos to him. And it's been fantastic. We've helped hundreds of people get a green card that way.
Let's see now. Examples
for acceptable quick. People are going, what? Now she's just showing off. You know that. Now she's just showing off. By the way, I would call this a matter of Arguien entry because Colleton was simply the second case that addressed this. Basically, you want to get proof you traveled. I mean, if you have your plane tickets, if you can get affidavits for people who travel with you, that's good. Your own affidavits, if you remember, that's what it is. Immigration is really hard on these cases, but you get what you can get. 618 waivers are filed after I was already been approved or after NVC allows you to pay fees. So basically, you have to pay the fees to NVC. And generally speaking, the visa, if it's a marriage-based case, the visa is available immediately. So I don't know what you'd be waiting for. All right, my dad was going to be by his job and let go. It just dies. Sorry.
Okay.
Has a warrant for unpaid travel. What? Pay? No, this is obviously not Erica. It's someone.
Right.
Someone. First thing you do is walk up to them and slap them upside the head for not paying their tickets. 2, you tell them to hire a lawyer to pay their tickets, and they probably have a warrant out for their arrest to get the warrant dismissed. That's what you do. Then you apply for advanced parole. It's not me. It's a relative. It's her evil twin, Skippy. Can my sister-in-law's trying to petition my mother? No, you can't sponsor in-laws. Sorry.
Let's see here.
Is there a time frame you shouldn't be out of the country with AP? Well, first of all, if you're traveling on DACA, there is a time frame. It's generally 45 days, generally speaking. Don't take all 45 days. Don't wait till the last day. Too many bad stories about that.
Yeah.
Look up the one right. Norbelli's got a question. Again, this is not about Norbelli. This is a friend's question. Can a doctor travel with advanced parole with a dismissed secondary felony? Yes. It's dismissed.
He was dismissed. Yes.
And if questioned by CBP, they should say, it wasn't me. I don't know what's going on. It was our frame up or whatever. So. Si en 2011 me pasé por violencia doméstica, aún tengo posibilidad de parole. Yeah, absolutely. Si su esposo era indocumentado, tiene que, la cosa con la visa U, tiene que hacer reporte de policía. Sin reporte de policía no hay una visa U. Si él era ciudadano o residente, no tiene que tener un reporte de policía.
Nice.
All right. See, this is a great question. If you file a FOIA, will you get all the information immigration has on you? No, you will not. There are certain things that they will not release. Things that are law enforcement related, they will not release. Things that are related to their internal notes, they will not release. So sometimes you get everything, but you'll get everything you gave them, but you will not get everything back from other things.
Let's see.
Can my mom petition my IM over 21, how long does it take? I don't know what an IM is. Do you know what an IM is? Is that a new version of relative? You know, I don't know. Can I, if I'm a licensed, I thought it said if I'm a licensed loan originator. Loan originator. Yeah. I mean, any job can be sponsored. Any job can be sponsored. Garbage collector, nanny, done lots of nannies. Rocket scientist, any job can be sponsored. I applied for asylum, including my younger half-sister and brother in the case they got approved. Now resident cards. But I didn't get approved. My court date got canceled in the pandemic. I didn't have court. Do you think I have a chance to get approved? Why would your brother or sister get approved? Now, Danny, generally you don't, siblings are not included in each other's applications. Was it your parents that filed and they were included? So the question doesn't make sense as framed. And I've done thousands of asylum cases, so it doesn't make sense. Oh, next one, Eric Roman. What happens if you put Peru, but I buy a plane ticket on it, makes a layover? Layover's fine. You know, if you say, look, the plane stopped in Ecuador on the way up, they may just get off the plane back in, that's fine. They're going to see the date you got there the day you left. So it's not a big deal. You're charged with a drug felony. Well, yeah, but you need to get the drug felony erased as quickly as possible. But yeah, you can renew. Now, the thing is, immigration may deny it because what they're going to do is say, send us proof of the disposition because they're morons, right? And you're going to, and hopefully by the time that they send that to you, you have a disposition. Yessie, what were you doing, man? What were you doing? My mother says she would take me to try to get a visa when I was very little in my home country. My parents don't remember ever applying for it. How can I find out what did I put down when filing my OS form? Because I don't. So the question you need to ask your parents, did you leave? Did you leave? That's the question you need to know the answer to. Did you leave? Does my passport last name have to match my best? I recently got married. I want to change my name. I would. So your advanced parole has your maiden name and your passport has your new name. That's okay. Just bring your marriage certificate with you. If your passport has your old name and your marriage certificate has the new name, get a new passport. My dad does have a police record. 20 years ago, he was robbed and attacked. His lawyers and requested charges of sign refused to sign. Yeah. It depends on the police officer. And it's not the police officer, it's the sheriff that does that. Oh, I've got another call I need to get on, Vanessa. We're going to have to end it. I'm due for another call.
All righty. Thank you so much for being here.
See you soon. Good talking, everybody.